What's up guys? I hope all of you are doing well today. In this video I will do another video about OnlyFans chatting, and in this video I will show you 5 ways how to increase your OnlyFans chatters revenue. In case you don't want to miss any more of those chatting videos, I will produce a lot now in the upcoming days and weeks. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and yeah guys, let's start now with the video. The first thing which I see a lot of agencies actually not doing when it comes to increasing their chatters revenue and in general working properly with the chatters together is setting daily, weekly and monthly goals tied to bonus payments. I will give you some examples of my agency, what we are doing in order to try to increase our chatters revenue and in general their performance, and one of those things are daily goals. Let's just say, for example, for today we have the goal that all of the chatters that are managing this specific girl make over 500 net, so 2k on a day on this model, and every chatter makes minimum of $500. In case this goal should be reached, everyone will get a $5 bonus. Why we are saying everyone should get the 500 net and not in total 2k net, for example, is a simple reason. We don't want everyone to hard sell as crazy as possible. We want our chatters to work as a team. We don't want them to think, oh, I need to make as much money out of this guy in my shift in order to get the most amount of money for myself possible. We want our chatting teams to work as a team and not as single persons. And this is one of the reasons we're also trying to implement team goals on a daily, weekly and monthly basis. The next thing which we have is something which is for the chatters individual goals. We have for everyone specifically adapted to their current statistics goals when it comes to unlock ratio and reply time. This is one of the things which you can do with Inflow, for example. I presented that CRM in 2 videos ago, I think. Make sure to check it out in case that is interesting to you. They are displaying for us the unlock ratios of our PPVs. Let's say my chatter has a unlock ratio right now of 55% for the PPVs he just sold. Then at the end of the month, we will go to him, tell him, hey, for next month, we have a goal for you, for example, of unlock ratio 60% or above. And in case you are reaching 60%, then you will get a bonus of $20, $25, $30, whatever is making sense to you. And this is something which we are also hardly working on in our agency. The next goal which we set for every chatter every month as well is a reply time, which is obviously also matching to their current reply time. If someone has a reply time of 45 seconds and it doesn't make sense to him, yeah, okay, go under 30 seconds. Like 30 seconds reply time is insane and like not a goal in my opinion which you should have, and actually the quality of the chats will be less in my opinion if the reply time is so low. So in those cases I would tell him, hey, try to be sticking in this reply time, but try to get the quality of your messages higher. But in those cases, for example, if already someone has a good reply time like that, I would actually look on different things. But still, this is one of the things we always said, especially for people who have lack of speed when it comes to chatting. And this is one of the first most important things in my opinion which you need to hardly implement into your agency in order to have also long-term good results with your chatters. The next thing is the objection handling. How are your chatters handling objections from subscribers? And this is also one of the things I'm noticing a lot of agencies don't do. And this is checking actually what happened in chats that didn't sell. Most of the agencies, they only go into the selling chats, which are chats which already generate money. But a lot of agencies, they don't go into the chats where, for example, the first PPV was sent out and nobody bought the PPV. This is something which we also hardly look into because obviously in the chats where we already made a lot of money, something went right. But also in the chats where it didn't generate any money, obviously something went wrong, and this is why we're more looking into those chats in order to find out what the problems are. And yeah, of course, in most cases, those chats just have very, very bad people, just very low spending people in general, or just time wasters. like we like to call them. But still, very often I'm noticing moments, especially when we have low traffic, where the chatters, if they would have put a bit more effort into this chat, they could have sold the first PPV maybe for $12 and the second one for 25, something in this range, and then he would have made $37 more. And in a shift where he doesn't have that much traffic, this is better than nothing. And this is also something why you should hardly look into the objection handling. Why did the subs not purchase the first maybe and the second PPV, and what can we do in order to make everyone at least purchase a little bit? Maybe decrease the prices when you can tell, okay, this is a high spender. Maybe ask them, okay, what is the reason you don't want to buy? Is it too expensive for you? And then based on that, you can maybe negotiate a lower price. All of those things are things which you need to teach your chatters and also remind your chatters of, that this is possible in order to make as much money as possible with chatting. The next thing which we have is check if they are just selling or also trying to build up connections with the subscribers. This is also something extremely important. I talked about this in the last video about generating high spenders, and this is also the topic where a lot of agencies miss out on. They are just hard selling their subscribers. After 2 scripts, most of their subscribers are dead and they are not generating any whales anymore. And then they're complaining, oh, I think there's no high spenders anymore out there. This is just complete bullshit. There is a lot of high spenders out there. You just need to generate them or convert them into them. And this is something where I would highly recommend you to check out my last video when it comes to generating high spenders. When you have right now problems generating them, this will definitely help you out generating more. What I mean with checking out if they are just selling or trying to build up conversations or connections is that, is the chatter only going into the chats and trying to sell, or is he actually sometimes having conversations, for example, with high spenders he only is managing and stuff like this? And this is something which I would figure out, go into the chats, analyze what your chatter did in there, and then based on that try to adapt the conversation and try to get better results by also having your chatter just have normal conversations with subscribers and not just hard selling them the entire time. Very, very important. Also something a lot of agencies misunderstand. Don't just hard sell, also try to build up connections. The next thing is check out the typing style. This is also something a lot of people don't put that much attention to. They have their scripts pre-written, every message is already there, but they are only then checking out, okay, what was the reason he didn't continue buying? They don't check, okay, how was my chatter actually chatting, for example, before the script, and does this chatting style actually match with what I'm writing in the script? Because let's just imagine you have a chatter who writes basically nothing. Then you start with the script and all of a sudden there's extremely long messages. That looks weird, that looks off, that looks like a bot behavior. And this is something which you hardly need to figure out if this is matching, because if it's not matching, then the sub will think there's something wrong. This is maybe a bot, whatever. So hardly watch out on that as well. Nobody's just changing all of a sudden their typing behavior. That's not happening. The next thing which I also consider typing style is how many words per minute can the chatter write. This means the typing speed, basically. This is something which you can easily figure out online. Just go in typing tests or stuff like this and you will be able to find that out. And this is also something which I'm letting my chatters work on, that they are able to, first of all, write with 10 fingers. And then on top of that are also able to write faster. We're trying to get our chatters always above 100 to 110 words per minute while being in those writing tests. Depending on the language, sometimes it's harder to write, sometimes it's easier. English is very easy because everything is written small, but depending on the language you can adapt a little bit to that. But just in English, I think over 100 words should be definitely possible long-term for your chatters. The next thing which I also noticed is that a lot of chatters get a bit lazy when it comes to long-term chatting in your agency and putting effort into the messages. I talked about that before with the reply speed and the just time a chatter needs to reply, but to a message of a subscriber. But that also includes if someone is very, very fast at answering, check out if he actually writes proper messages or if he's just replying with an okay. Obviously, someone who just replies with okay is way faster replying than someone who's writing a lot of sentences. So make sure to check that out as well and put it into consideration when having a, for example, goal set it for the typing speed and stuff like this. And also, obviously, if you notice someone is replying very, very dry, try to adapt to that as well. Try to tell them, hey, we need you to engage more. We need you to write proper sentences. We need you to be the leader of the conversation. This is also something I notice a lot of agencies do wrong and like get wrong. A lot of subscribers keep still handling or leading the conversations in the chat, and this is something which I personally never liked. I always like to be the leader of the conversation. I am the one who's asking questions. Of course, we sometimes get questions back, but I am the one who is leading the conversation wherever I want in order to keep the control of what I want to happen in the next minutes. And this is something which also a lot of people get wrong when it comes to chatting, and this is one of the things I also think is highly important when it comes to getting good results in chatting. You need to be the leader of the conversation. And the last thing is analyze how they are treating the high spenders and adjust accordingly. What I also noticed and what I talked before, as I said, some chatters, they sell 2 scripts on one day to a new subscriber. He buys one and then the sub's dead. This is not a treatment a high spender should deserve, in my opinion. And this is also something I talked about again in the last video about. You need to make sure to have your chatters understand that those high spenders need to get a proper treatment. And if they are not getting this proper treatment, you need to very hardly adjust accordingly and make sure you implement the changes in order to get better results from high spenders, in order to get big money long term from the high spenders. Because if you're right now pushing very good traffic, amazing, that's the best what you can have. But let's just imagine your IG account gets banned or your main rented account gets banned in 3 days. The traffic will be 0. So how can you make money long term? You will have to need high spenders, and this is how you can also save your agency in case your traffic platform is fucked. If you have high spenders that continuously spend money every month, you will be able to keep your agency alive with them. And I'm not saying that because of like a fucking joke or whatever. I seriously had guys who spent 10K a month for my agency before or on one of my models, and they were literally saving this creator and there was no other traffic coming in. And this is not something which you should aim for, but this is something which can save you, the creator. And this is something which you hardly should look out for long term in order to make money with every profile, even if the traffic should be fucked for 1 or 2 weeks, whatever. That's why this is super important. In case all of this chatting stuff which I just explained sound absolutely horrible to you, you don't want to have to handle anything of this, I have a very good offer for you. I can give you access to my chatters. I will be giving 3 people after this video the opportunity to register on my website, which will be the first link in the description, for a fully backend chatting management service. This means that my chatters are taking care of your profiles, of your OnlyFans accounts, and are managing everything when it comes to selling or managing the profile itself. In case this should be interesting, make sure to click the first link in the description. And besides that, guys, if there should be any questions in regards to chatting, feel free to let me know as well. And yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Have a nice day and bye-bye.